Good afternoon. This is Brian Early coming to you with a update from the field. Um, it's been an eventful past couple of weeks with the dryness showing up, really amplifying some of the issues we've had going on all season. Starting out, I've got the percent of normal precipitation starting clear back in August of 2024. I have August, September, and October of 2024, and then my stomping ground circled in there. I didn't put the legend on here, but anytime you see yellow or lighter or yellow, orange, or red, that means it's very dry. So looking how we finished last year, and I think most of you remember this, we had that hot, dry, lack of humidity time period that was great for harvest, but was not good for soil moisture. So kind of got that kicked off in August and really amplified up through October. Now I didn't include November to February, but those months also were dry and I didn't include them on here. March of 2025 saw extreme northern Indiana get some much needed rain and kind of replenish the soil. But you look in north central Indiana to the south, so kind of between Highway 26 and the Wabash River and a little further north, it remained pretty dry. And then April, May definitely kept that pattern going up. So just like last fall, it provided for a really nice planting season, but wasn't great for our soil moisture situation, which actually had got back to a good spot last year at this time, thanks to hurricane rains, but we have robbed from that and now we're back really dry again. So, looking at this in a graphical form since planting, I picked one field that I'm going to highlight today. It's the same field for everything I present. So, looking back this year, 2025, on the same field compared to 2023, much in the same situation. Now, the difference between 2023 and 2025, in 2023, we actually had soil moisture to live on. So, if those of you that remember that year, it actually was a productive year. We weren't blessed with a lot of rains, but we ended up having a pretty good crop, mostly because we were able to limp through with soil moisture. When I pulled this graph up, the blue line there represents 25, the orange represents 23. Both were well below the average line, but they really mirrored each other. So I was surprised at this. And the reason I put it on here was just to talk about the soil moisture situation. So we have a program or a model that we use to basically mimic a soil probe in the soil for irrigation purposes, but you can use this on just regular fields as well. And I picked a field, same field again in Fulton County, looking at the available soil water. So in both cases here, I'll see if I can circle it. There is a heavier soil type, so that Markton, loamy, sand, actually that's the lighter soil type, my apologies. So that's a sandier soil sitting right now at about 41.8% soil water, but the number I'm really interested in is this available water. So what the plant can glean out of the soil. Right now, today, we are sitting at just 16% left. So that is not a number that we like to see. And I'll show a graph in a little bit saying what that range should be. We look at a heavier soil, so the berry loam, a nice loamy blacker colored soil, doing a little better, almost 60% soil water, but not, again, we're under 20 for available plant water. So we are really scraping the bottom of the barrel on available soil water. So as some of this unevenness that we've seen, this is why some of this stuff is really showing up more dramatic this year than it has in the past. If you think back to when the plants weaned themselves, so we had that really nice planting window, the plant got up a little more than ankle high and it had to live on its own. And then fields started to get really erratic, and I think it made a lot of people pretty uneasy. And you're always thinking, well, that will get rain, that'll even up, but it really didn't this year. This unevenness in a lot of these cornfields we've seen has really plagued us since the start. So it's always hard to point fingers at someone else or even back at yourself and say, hey, I might have farmed that a little wet, but in our case, I don't believe that was the case in hardly any cases. We were just dry. Our soil was very hard, and when you get that, you get a lot of soil chemistry issues. So you'll see nutrient deficiencies that really aren't there. The soil chemistry is not working. That nutrient is there. You just got the pathway for that nutrient to get in the plant gets messed up. And a lot of these dry fields now, we're seeing a lot of nitrogen firing at the bottom of these plants, and we for sure have enough nitrogen in almost every case, but your soil chemistry is working against you, so that nitrogen is not getting taken up. That's just a function of what you see in droughty conditions. So this graphic really brought it to the forefront of me just how deficient we are in soil moisture. So we are not in a good shape. Fortunately, the forecast looks a little better. So when I look at a graphical form, when we're doing irrigation, we've got two lines here, max fill and minimum allowed water. So I talked about that plant available water. If we get down to that minimal allowable water, that's that 60% mark. That's where we want to turn the pivot on and replenish that to try to get that field back to capacity. So this black line down here is actually where we are sitting right now. So we are have not been in a good shape since basically all of July. It's been longer than that, but you can see how we continually trend downward where those plants are taking some moisture out of the soil, and then you got transpiration losses too. So kind of got everything working against us here in the soil water side. So when you go out and look at these fields, and I showed two different soil polygons, but even within them soil polygons, you're going to have differences in the moisture levels by the foot. So that's why you see the fields really erratic, tassels shooting at odd times, and it makes the field look really ragged. So this will explain why a lot of that is happening that way. But since you can't see it with your eye above ground, it's hard to wrap your mind around just what is making this so dramatic this year.